if you've lost your job to AI, automation, robotics, or you can't find one, we're going to start getting into what you can do. I have gone through 2 major displacements in my life where my complete identity was taken away. So I understand the grief, the disorientation, and I want to tell you, the first time it happened to me, I didn't have good skills and I didn't handle it very well. It almost killed me. And look at previous Wall Street crashes where people jumped out of windows. You need to get good skills, not just for mental health, but for the work to come. I didn't have good skills. And then the second time it happened to me, I had really good skills. Was it easy? Not necessarily, but I could see the silver lining. I could pivot quicker and I could do the things I'm going to talk to you about doing. I got on my feet quicker. I know if you've lost your job or you're worried about it, it's hard. It's hard. It's hard. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's not easy, but we can make it easier. Let's talk about who's getting hit and when. And this AI automation robot thing. Wave number 1 is tech. That's happening now. January 2026. Some of this stuff happened last year. 78,000 tech jobs were lost in AI in the first half of 2025. And in the first 6 weeks of 2026, 30,000 tech jobs. The reason why tech is getting hit first is because they're early adopters, right? Of course they're tech. So they're learning how to use AI the quickest. And boy, are they learning. The next wave is going to be knowledge work and content. I'm doing content creation, very easy to run something through Claude or OpenAI, ChatGPT, and it's writing stuff for me. So the next wave is going to be junior copywriters, basic coders. There's not going to be jobs for them anymore. Customer support, entry-level analyst, AI is starting to replace that. Entry-level positions are down 15% year over year right now. Now the third wave, which I started talking about a lot, was mid-management. Now, through the end of 2026, it looks like 20% of the organizations are going to cut 50% of their middle management. In 2024, middle managers are 29% of all layoffs. The highest risk roles, fastest declining, are postal clerks, bank tellers, data entry, cashiers, admin assistants, bookkeepers, graphic designers, those kind of things. We can see even now, once we start using these tools, how we're not going to need paralegals like we used to. We're certainly not going to need accounting the way we did. The lowest risk roles, and I love this, are the trades. And I love it because I love working with trades. I've flipped houses and they're some of my favorite people. And I just hate that it's been like this push. You got to get a college degree for so long, and all these people go into debt when these trades are so freaking smart. And if you've ever watched them cut tile and lay tile, you'd be like, dang, that takes some math, right? So skilled trades, you're going to do very, very well. Anything that's hands-on that can't be replaced. Therapy, coaching, though we can automate some of that already. Healthcare, though we are automating that a little bit with telehealth and chat health and stuff like that. But, you know, when we're sick, we need a person. Educators, like I don't want a robot teaching my child. Social workers that really need a high understanding of like what's real. And as I talked about, construction. So anything that requires human presence, low risk. Now, one thing about the trades is more and more people are choosing trades in tech schools. I have a son who's going to be so good at this. And his high school actually has the route to do that by the time he graduates. The big shift, how hiring has changed. And this is, they're not looking at college degrees like they were now. They're looking at skills. And if there's one word I can give you is skills. Skills, skills, skills. Learn skills. Every day, try to learn something small. Or every week, practice a new skill. You can do relationship skills, communication skills, emotional regulation. You can learn AI, all kinds of skills, learn skills. 81% of US companies now practice skills-based hiring. It's like, what are your skills? Google, IBM, Apple, Tesla, Bank of America, GM all dropped degree requirements for a lot of roles. I love that. And 72% of employers are now prioritizing skills over formal education. I love that so much. It's no longer the question of where did you go to school? It's what can you do? Now, where are the jobs coming from and how are you going to get them? Woo, you're going to like this. All right, tier number one, our AI can't do those jobs. So we talked about some of them: skilled trades, healthcare, construction, personal care, right? I don't want a robot giving me whatever, a facial. Not that I can afford a facial with the economy, but training, trade schools, those kind of things. And you can go back and you can get certifications. You can get a Google certification. You can do internships, apprenticeships, all kinds of things that are going to help you right now. Now, on the AI side, these are AI adjacent or bridge roles. And this is a big opportunity if you want to go into working with AI. There's prompt engineers, AI trainers, AI support specialists, and many now are using no code. So I'm learning Claude Cowork that requires no coding experience. Though I'm actually trying to learn coding because it's really important, but now you just say it and it codes it for you. Here's the secret weapon that they're saying. If you're a specialist in a job, you want to marry that with AI and you'll be fine. Like a nurse who can understand healthcare workflows and can use AI for that. So what I would recommend as another option for you if you are employed is you learn how to use your AI, whatever it is, and it's getting integrated in everything, the most you can, and use it the most you can, and be there to teach other people and be vocal about it. And you want to not say, people, you're going to lose your jobs. What you want to say is how we can get more efficient doing this and be the expert at that. That's the big, 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 big opportunity here. We've still got the technical AI roles. Pretty much got to go to school for most of that. Here's an interesting thing to me. The deep research, because I have a couple of kids in Silicon Valley kind of jobs, and they're saying like the deep research, the research scientists, they're all PhDs. And this still matters, but it's also a very small percentage of new jobs. So if you want to go to school and get your PhD, there's still work for you there. The 3 things employers want. Number 1, people who can use AI tools fluently in their existing field, which is what I told you. Learn it. Whatever your company is using, learn it to its fullest. If you're an entrepreneur, use it to its fullest in your work, like I'm doing. I'm not telling you to build it, use it. Now, if you lost your job, the 3 things I want you to do. Number 1, first thing, inventory your skills. Write them all down. Write all your skills down. Also, if you've lost your job, we can go through this. As I've been life coaching a long time, we can go through your resources on how to financially get through it, which is a whole nother video. But to find a job specifically, we're going to inventory all our skills. And then we're going to do an inventory of the skills we do not have that we need. So what you're going to do is you're going to look at the skills that poured over. Analytical thinking, critical thinking, which this channel is all about thinking for yourself. Learn that. Resilience, flexibility, agility, pivot, move fast. Leadership, social influence. Just take an inventory of your skills. And as you learn more, understand which skills are going away and which skills will still work, and then get good at the ones you don't have. Okay, now I want you to remember some things about AI. AI can never replace us because it can't do these things. So far, it can't do all the complex problem solving, although I've given ChatGPT some extremely complicated scenarios and it's doing pretty well, and it'll get better at that. It can't do relationship building, and it's horrible at navigating ambiguity. It doesn't read social cues. It doesn't understand really what you're saying. It will take things too literally. And so that's why you learn how to prompt it better. It can't do creative strategy. So can't do anything about empathy, although it masks empathy pretty well by validating. It can't read a room. It doesn't understand context. And it can't make calls with incomplete data. Those are still human skills. It doesn't have like a gut that we do. And it is adapting itself. It's artificial intelligence. It's getting more intelligent, but it still needs you. And so that's the second thing I wanted to talk to you about, and in the steps. And here's the third step. Got to learn the skill of self-regulation. You have to stay calm and open. And if you don't have skills to stay calm, then you're going to do anything logical you can think of to stay calm. You can do anything from a warm bath to play with your puppy. Like, we all have things that make us happy in the sunshine. Just, you need a lot of those to stay calm. You want to go, I want to grind. I want to get back in there. But if you don't use these skills to stay calm, you're not going to be open, you're not going to be creative, and you're going to miss opportunities. So make it your work to take care of yourself. A big thing that I want to leave you guys with is something that is very concerning to me, is this identity collapse that we need to take care of ourselves. So if you're a mid-manager, you've worked your way up and you're at this place where you're a manager of people and it is your identity and it's taken away, that's really, really hard. So you're dealing with the financial uncertainty, but this identity piece is super hard to deal with. And that's something I really want to talk to you about, because if we can get that core identity that doesn't shift, and it is who we are regardless of circumstance, then we're going to be good no matter what. I just want to remind you, your identity is not the kind of work you do. And the conversation will probably change a little bit from, what do you do, right? And you're like, I don't know. I'm looking for a job. And then you have shame and all that. So we're going to reframe all that. I hope that was helpful. I know it's a lot. And I just want to encourage you. I want you to drop me a line if any of this resonates, if you think anything was inaccurate, and if there's any content you really need. Your work goes a long way in helping me do this. And I really, during this time, want to be there for you guys. I have had over a 20-year career helping people go through really hard transitions. So I am very well positioned to help you during this time. I have lots of tricks. And so I want to help you, and that's why I'm getting back in here. And if you can support me by watching the videos, sharing, commenting, subscribing, that will help me in my work. All right, talk soon. Thanks. Bye. Say bye.
Bye.
See ya.